Well, thanks, Baru. Welcome in. Didn't see anybody pop in. Hope you're having a good morning. Just getting a bunch of these ready to get shipped out. What brings you in? You a collector? Few collections, nice. Go on. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Fiery Ash is one of my favorite people in the entire world. This is actually my first time being back on Twitch in a very, very long time. But I figured I would try the format out and see if like the stream is playing well, and if the I feel like I thought I saw your name before. Yeah, make sure everything is all nice and tested before it's got to go out. All these end up getting, all these were already sold on Whatnot over the Memorial Day weekend, so just finishing up the shipment side of things. Gotta make sure everything's tip top, you know. At least as good as it's going to get anyway. There's only so much you can do, depending on how the games are when they get to you. But I do like to try to find ways to pretty them up for prom, basically, before I send them off to their forever home. Place is kind of like a halfway house for video games. Just trying to see them on their way, you know. Yeah, if you have any questions, just, you know, if you let me know. Otherwise, you're welcome to hang out, because I'm just going to keep kind of cleaning. Actually, this is, I'm gonna have like one more after this before I have to take these back and box them all up. Then I have another really big round to do. So this is 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. This is safe for pretty much all electronics. This is the same stuff that you would find in like the NES cartridge cleaning kits and stuff. It dries really, really fast, and it's pretty good for clearing off debris and dirt and dust. Basically all the things that are not oxidation. So this is always like my phase one for cleaning pretty much anything. Then this is deoxit. This is deoxit gold actually in white form, but the liquid form is the same. It's basically an anti-corrosion connector cleaner that also, in addition to using like a chemical reaction to remove corrosion, also protects it from further oxidation. So this is like what helps clear off the non-conductive tarnish that builds up on the pins that prevents the console from making a connection. So basically when you put your cartridge in, nothing happens. It's usually because there's a buildup of patina or like non-conductive material on it just from exposure and time. There's only two ways to get it off. You either need like a physical abrasive, so you need to scrape it off, or you need to use a chemical reaction. I use a combination of both, depending on what the degree of buildup is. But ideally, you want your pins to be as consistent and as clean as possible, so that when the console makes a connection, it bites down across like a smooth enough surface for it to connect across all the pins. So all this stuff that's on here isn't dirt. This is actual like oxidized metal that would otherwise be interrupting the connection between the game and the console. And then for this, I just basically use like a surface cleaner to get off the grime. Otherwise, I'll use the isopropyl. I'm using the isopropyl as a final flush to help with kind of disinfect it. Plus, it helps make sure that there's no lingering residue or anything like that that might get on the board or inside the console. But this helps me clean it. It's kind of like like all the grime and stuff that accumulates inside these little channels. And then I just smack it with the isopropyl flush and get everything nice and clean. Plus it also prevents the label from getting too wet since the isopropyl dries so well. But you can use anything from like 91% to 99%, and it'll be safe for electronics. Anything lower than like 91% is probably not ideal. And you get like this nice, get a nice even clean surface. Like you can see the physical abrasions are still going to be there. These scratches and stuff are never going to go away. And the label damage is the label damage, but we do what we can. We can see all the buildup on the inside here from likely, yard sales or poor storage or someone blowing in the cartridge, that kind of stuff. All the human juice that accumulates. I just clean all that up. But all the stuff I'm using, with the exception of the surface cleaner, is safe for electronics. Like, you don't want to spray your board with this stuff. Generally, I honestly don't think it would be too bad, but I wouldn't recommend it. There's plenty of other ways to clean electronics that don't involve what you would use to clean like a countertop. But this is just plastic. There's nothing super special about it, other than the fact that it's kind of porous plastic. The fact that it's porous is what makes ink such a pain in the ass. But I have a few solutions for that as well. When it comes to like ink, markers, stickers. There's a tool for every problem. Right now we're dealing with pretty basic stuff. It's mostly just grime and dirt, but every once in a while there's like, you know, rental stickers or any number of other. Yeah, like these pins are pretty good already. And the idea is you want it to work the first time, every time you put it in a console. And most of the time, games are just dirty. It's very, very rare that they're broken. I would say in the thousands of cartridges that I've gone through, one in, I don't know, every couple hundred might be actually broken to some degree. The rest of them are just dirty. Dirty, tarnished, neglected, what have you. See, it spins up just fine. And that's all we need. I guess it was an ad break. I was just talking during that. Oh well. See, like, here's one that's got all sorts of shenanigans, right? We've got like a full-blown anti-theft strip here. This is like a metal strip with a sticker on top of it. There's a full-blown Blockbuster sticker on top of the label that I will probably leave on, but I also imagine there's probably stuff inside as well. We'll test it first. A lot of people don't mind the Blockbuster stickers. They find them to be nostalgic. I don't really have a preference, so we have a gray screen, right? So that means normally someone would just like blow in this game until they got it working. But we don't do that here. No reason to spit on our games. That's what we can actually see on this board. As you can see, like the two-tone of the buildup, and you can actually see it's almost like plaque, right? It's like the plaque you would see on teeth. This like accumulation of stuff that's just all over the pins. You can see it on the back too. It's even thicker on the back side, all the way up to here. This is all getting in the way. So just to make sure we start off with, you know, clean, we go with the isopropyl first. Use a dedicated brush just to make sure that I can get it in between everything. We have no idea what's been on this cartridge, what sort of material is transferred on, so we try to make sure that we're cleaning all the not just the pins, but like the chipsets, where they're seated. You know, you can kind of try to get in between all the little pieces just to free up all the dirt. But the alcohol itself does nothing for the oxidation. Like, that stuff is just going to be there, but now it's just the oxidation. There's no dirt there. So because of the degree of this, what I'm going to do is use a fiberglass pen. This is basically like a detailing scratch pen. You have to be really careful with these because they, well, again, it's a rod of fiberglass, and it's very capable of just stripping the brass right off the pins. So the goal is to leave as much brass on the pins as possible because it's what protects the copper trace that runs all the way through the board into the pin. Like all these little lines here, these are little copper wires that are basically plugging in here. And so there's a copper trace, and then there's a nickel layer on top of that, and then there's the brass layer on top of that. So the brass is what we want to try to protect first, but it's also going to be the first thing that gets tarnished. So we want to strip off as little as we have to in the process of cleaning it and stripping off all of this corrosion so that we can add protectant. So the fiberglass pen is kind of like a precision tool for me, but it takes a bit of time to get used to it. Like the amount of pressure that you can add before you just start stripping precious brass off the pin. Because you don't really get to add more material to it unless you start using like conductive paint or something like that. And we're just not going that far. There's really no reason to, usually. So this is kind of like the equivalent of resurfacing a CD. We're just taking a little bit of material off to save the rest of it. We can see these lines here. This is all the corrosion that's coming off of the pin. We're just kind of sweeping away the really aggressive stuff. And then we'll use the deoxit to clean the rest and to protect it from future corrosion. And the cool thing about the deoxit is when it's on the pins, it also transfers into the console when you plug it in. See? So it also protects the pins on the inside. Downside is the same thing happens when you blow in your game. Like if you blow in your game, you're also transferring that spit to the inside of your console. So all the problems that could come from, sending voltage through salt ends up getting transferred to your console as well. So it's just kind of a slow degradation process. If you can't tell, I have a major aversion to blowing in their goddamn games. It's a big no-no. Don't do it. But you can see all this stuff. This is oxidized metal. This is not dirt, right? Because we already wiped off the pin. So this is what the deoxit pulls off. And we know we're clean when we stop pulling stuff off of the pin. And then all that's left is the metal that remains. So now we see, right? It's a much more even surface. Still got plenty of brass on there. But now the console should have a much easier time getting a hold of these pins. Let's get the anti-theft strip off of this thing. Yeah, see, metal strip and tape. So this adhesive residue, we can try to get off with isopropyl first because it's kind of a light solvent. If this doesn't work, there's a couple other solutions we have. Some people prefer Goo Gone. I don't like starting with Goo Gone. There's a lot of ways to get adhesive off. The one that I prefer the most is actually lab grade N-heptane, which is this stuff. So N-heptane is a pretty powerful solvent. This stuff is actually used in a product called Bestine to remove rubber cement. So this stuff is interesting because it dries really fast and doesn't stain. So this is actually pretty effective at removing stickers and adhesive from paper labels, cardboard, boxes, that kind of stuff. Super duper handy. There's a few chemicals that do similar things. I find that N-heptane is the one that has the least downsides for me. Some people will use like lighter fluid, butane, but I hate the petroleum smell that comes with it. That kind of perpetual grill odor. But we can see like the residue that's on here, the N-heptane basically strips it right off. without causing any damage to the cartridge. Let's see. So I've had my Whatnot show since August. I got into restoration a bit before that while I was collecting, and I actually tried to do some stuff on Twitch before I ended up moving over to Whatnot, and just kind of trading and selling over there. But I'd say probably in earnest since August was when I really decided what I wanted to do. So like my Whatnot show is exactly what I'm doing now, except occasionally people buy stuff from my inventory, which is all kind of behind me. So back here on the other side, there's my 64 stuff there. There's the Super Nintendo over there, and then my NES shelves are yonder. That's kind of the workspace that I'm working with here. So we've come a long way since August. I didn't expect it to go the way that it's going, but I'm really excited in general. And it's been a work in progress as far as even just the learning how to choosing the tools I'm using. All that stuff took a bit of time to figure out. I think I'm going to leave this sticker on here. It's pretty well placed and it's not really out of line. So, and I know the person that bought it, they're not going to care. Some people would ask me to remove it, and in a situation like this, I'd make it a bit of a project because it is right on top of the label. So there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. But if I find a safer one, I'll show you what sticker removal looks like as well. And I have my like color coding system that indicates what condition the cartridge is in. So this one's marked as below average, which is why it's red. If it were average, it'd be green. If it were above average, it'd be blue. And exceptional cartridges get a yellow sticker, or gold sticker rather. And then I just price based on condition. Just kind of makes things easier to manage and gives the community something they can kind of fall back on when it comes to how much something might be worth or what have you. But like normally what would end up happening is a game like this, like Super C, and actually there's a bot in the chat that I wrote that will actually do price checking. So if I did like PC Super C NES, let's see if the bot works. So it should spit it in the chat. Yeah, there it is. So loose copy goes for about 21 bucks. And then if I wanted to modify it based on condition, my bot also has basically my algorithm built in, so that if I want to see below average price, it would be like less than $19, right? We see it here in the little red box. Average is like 20 to 23, above average would be 24 to 25, etc. And if there was a complete in box copy, they run around 90 bucks. Box itself is probably about 50. So that way there's no questions, right? There's no like mystery as far as if people want to have their game appraised or we want to speak the same language. That's kind of how I like to operate. It's gotten me this far. All right, these are nice and tidy now, so they just need to get boxed up. And shipped away. What time is it? It's 10 to 6. I got a few hours left still. We'll see how far I can get through the other stuff. Be right back. This should be easier because this is all just Nintendo games. Almost exclusively, so no mixed batches. It's a pretty massive sale though. Let's get a fresh towel. We start from the beginning. This should look familiar. So as long as it works the first time I pop it in, unless there's like, well, this is a Canadian copy. You can tell based on the bilingual backside here. And you can see there's a version note here as well. There's your Canada, otherwise it would say US can. All right, so we know which one this is, so I'll just do it in order. Make it easier for myself. There have too many copies of Double Dribble. This has a pretty big sticker on the back. Cash converters. $3 NES game. And we got some sticker residue on the label as well. Nice gray screen. All right, we're about to pop this thing open. How much is an SNES game cleaning? I think I got an SNES that's reacting bad reading. So, I mean, so far I haven't really done a whole lot of contract work. If you want me to clean it for you, like, I can definitely get you details. I have a Discord that you can use to get a hold of me directly, or you can reach out on Twitch. But honestly, a lot of this is stuff you could probably do on your own, depending on what the situation is. So a SNES game and an NES game, like, they're basically the exact same thing. So depending on if it was something you wanted to do, I offer bundles with all the tools you would need. So like I offer bundles with like the Game Bit screwdriver, 6 cleaning brushes, fiberglass pen, metal spudger, deoxit, that kind of stuff. If you don't have any interest in doing it yourself and you just really want somebody to do it for you, I can get you info on how to get it to me. I would probably just charge you shipping. Like, it wouldn't take me very long if it was just dirty, and it usually makes for a cool project. My hourly rate for most things is like $40 an hour. But to clean a game, I wouldn't do that. It would be closer to like 15, I imagine, unless it required some crazy stuff. But if you want, let's see. I think I can. Haven't tried this yet. My link, here it is. Hey, you're welcome to join the Discord if you want. And then if you want to reach out about anything, just feel free. If you want to send me, and that's an easy way to find me to send pictures as well. Like if you want to just send me pictures of the problem or what you're seeing, that would be ideal too. Because it could be your console, it could be the game, you know, it could be either. I try to encourage people to learn to take care of their games anyway. Like it's a good skill to have, especially if you know, like having games and want to be able to buy other stuff and want to be able to say, okay, well, if this game shows up to me and maybe it's not perfect, um, can I make it perfect? And the answer is usually, yeah. Usually you can take a game that's in pretty bad shape and get it working. Like you can get pretty bad before these things actually give up. They're built to last. They don't really make hardware like this anymore. It's one of the reasons I like working on them so much. Because like they can fall pretty hard. But most of the things I've done for people have generally been for favors. So I'm happy to help. Like it's not a big deal. For what you would probably end up paying me to clean one game for you, I could probably get you the tools that you would need to clean 100. And the education is free, so it's kind of your choice. Like the most expensive stuff is probably the deoxit itself. But I also have probably the cheapest deoxit on the internet, thanks to my partnership with Keg Laboratories, the company that makes it. They really like what I do here, and so they were nice enough to provide me with kind of like an OEM partnership deal. It's not quite a sponsorship, but I'm able to sell their products without having to mark up or anything like that. So all right, so you made it to the Discord. Let me go ahead and give you a roll real quick. So you can have the collector roll. There you go. So I'm in that Discord as RGB. Most of the people in that server are Whatnot regulars, other sellers, collectors, people from the community. All very, very nice people. All very, very passionate about the hobby. Yeah, I imagine most people do. Um, I just figured it would probably be easier. So even if you don't stay in the Discord, you can use it to hit me up directly, and then that way, if you want to friend me or whatever, if you need to leave the Discord to make room, you know, I understand entirely. No hard feelings. The Discord is primarily for people that are looking to like trade or buy games. Um, I'm only recently getting into like social media content, so I'm trying to, because I have hundreds, like at this point, probably thousands of hours of restoration footage, and so I'm trying to make the time to, make little TikTok videos or like YouTube shorts or whatever, doing cleans, um, helping people figure out how to get their tools and stuff. So I do have a direct website. It's retrogamesboutique.com. It's still under construction, but I can sell directly through it as opposed to going through Whatnot. So if you decide you want any tools or something like that, I can get them to you directly. Not to pitch you, but you mentioned that you have a broken game, so I'd love to help you fix it. Let me know though. No big deal, no matter what. Always happy to meet new people. Like, it's less about the service I provide and more about the education for me. I don't know that I've ever like filled my discords. How many discords does it take for you to get full? I don't know that I've ever been there, ever gotten that far. Ever beaten the Discord game that way. 100? Jeez. Well, I guess that's probably pretty easy if you're. I probably had more when I was spending a lot of time on Twitch. I pared it down quite a bit. I say as I'm on Twitch. But like I said, it's a very, very recent thing, as in like this is my first stream back on Twitch since I stopped being on Twitch. So for stickers, there's usually a couple options. I like to start with a dry spudger or a scraper just to see if I can get a little bit of play here. So we can see like this sticker comes right up to the label, but it probably doesn't going to overlap much. So we can just try to pull it away to make sure that there's not going to be any tearing and get it down to the plastic before we do anything crazy with it. Because we don't want to blow up this back label. There's no reason to. The sticker's pretty soft, so it might just come right up. Maybe not with that one. Sometimes we need the big spudgy. Paper stickers aren't usually so bad. Sometimes they can be actual pains in the ass, but this one's fine. I try to get the sticker off in one piece just so that there's less like little pieces of paper and strips and tearing. It's a sticky sticker. And if the isopropyl is enough to get it off, I don't bother with the unheptane. Just because it's such a strong solvent. There's no reason to if I don't need it. But every once in a while, a sticker comes along that needs an ass kicking. But if you do want to open up your Super Nintendo games, you at least need a Game Bit screwdriver. You can get these on Amazon pretty cheap. Like if you have Amazon Prime or whatever, the shipping difference will probably make it worth just getting on there. So I think they're like $5, $6 on Amazon. I can sell mine a little cheaper, but shipping makes a difference. There we go. There's Double Dribble. Working just fine. See, now this one's got a whole bunch of crap on it. Super squishy inside too, so we're just gonna rip this thing open. These pins feel like they're made out of Laffy Taffy. Oh yeah, these pins are awful. So we can see there's like black corrosion on here. You can see actual pitting on the pins as well. It also looks like someone used Brasso to clean it. So they already stripped all the brass off of the pins. And so this exposed nickel is really prone to oxidation, which is why you're seeing like the black pitting and stuff on these. You can actually see like these have been pretty much stripped down already. Rental stores are notorious for using Brasso. There's a time and a place for it. It's just a very, very abrasive and corrosive chemical that you would normally use to, I don't know, strip metal. But a lot of those stores will use it as just like a first option. Instead of just cleaning their games, they'll just strip all the brass off, which really doesn't work for the longevity of the game. It's like cleaning your game with wet chemical sandpaper. It's pretty bad. Thanks, Dead Jen. I don't think the audio's hooked up anymore. Once upon a time. Yeah, I haven't messed with those in a while. Thanks, Dead Jen. You have a good one. I appreciate you. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be, but I appreciate you hopping in. Hey, thanks again for stopping in, Dead Jen. I appreciate you. See how many more of these I can get through on stream. Been going for, let's see, about an hour and 45. Making pretty good time so far. This card is filthy. There's just adhesive residue all over it. On like every side. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Yeah, there's nothing on these pins anymore. They're basically just nickel and tarnish now. Get all that. Situations like this, I prefer to use the deoxit gold. It's a bit more of a potent formula. It's got a bit of a stronger protectant to it. And with the exposed nickel, that it's formulated for precious metals, this actually works out to a bit of an advantage, even though I would rather have the brass on there. But at least this will leave a solid kind of protective shield on it that should prevent it from getting too damaged too quickly. You can see, like, even though you can even see where they stripped off so much of the material that you're starting to see, like, the beginning of the copper trace above the line here. That's how deep it's worn. But we got it pretty clean. You can see there's almost a bit of exposed copper there as well. So bad. These are things that one person might never see, you know, if they have never opened their games. Their stuff could just stop working someday and they'd have no idea why. Well, all in all, I think it came out pretty well, considering where we started. This isn't going anywhere. This is an abrasion. Should make sure it plays. There we go. Perfect. Now this one is nice and scummy. Look at that. Like somebody wiped their ass with this one. Ugh. 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 Yeah, you don't want to blow in this one. I'm not going to bother putting that in the console until it's clean. Don't want to transfer any of this shit to my poor Nintendo. It's quite a bit better, yeah. So you'll see a little bit of stuff in there. That's gross, dude. There we go. You'd never know. It spins right up. You love to see it. I mean, it looks really good compared to what it was before. It's pretty nice. So we generally want to try to avoid opening these up because the sticker covers the back screw hole. Luckily, these games tend to be pretty clean. I say as we get a gray screen. So we might be able to get away with like a pass one. So basically what I do is I take my toothbrush brush and I go in with some 99.9% isopropyl alcohol and just give it a nice scrubbing. This is basically what your Nintendo cartridge cleaner does. Well, it's not even almost exactly what it does. Doesn't do anything special besides apply some friction and some alcohol. But often it's enough. And sometimes they start right up. So, easy peasy. There's golf. Rambozo. This was a little dirty. Spins up though. Poor Mario 3. Big old label blip. I'm gonna pop this one open. I don't like what's rattling around in there. Most of the time when you hear something rattling around inside a Nintendo game, it's because one of the braces are broken or one of the small plastic teeth inside have snapped. It's just bouncing around inside. Yep, and in this case we have a full-blown broken hinge, which means that this cart's going to move. This one's not so bad. Luckily, Super Mario Brothers is a very large cartridge, but this means that there's going to be seating issues. As we saw, like, it will still play. It's just only a matter of time. So what I will likely do is actually just go in and glue that piece back into place. Usually holds pretty well. Where are you stuck already? This should seat just fine again. There we go. That'll have plenty of time to set. Yeah, it feels a lot better going into. Definitely don't like how grimy this one feels. I'm gonna rip this one right open. There we go. All right. I think that's going to probably do it for now. I gotta go get a bunch of stuff shipped. So thank you for hanging out. It's been super duper fun. I will see you all later. Yeah, you too. I'll probably do this again at like a regular time of day at some point when I'm not trying to rush. But right now I just need to get ready for my actual like day job pretty soon. So I will catch up with you. Take care.